But I have a question. I attended a public school, what we call Saito. In my days, it was a morning and afternoon shift. Lebi Kashwani, Anapadi Wia. In my days at Kaneshi Anglican JSS, what we had was called Pigeon and Dove. So I was in A, it was Pigeon, and then those who were in B, it was Dove. So you come to school in the mornings from 6 a.m. to 12:45 for 2 weeks, and then you swap to the afternoon for 2 weeks. And we did that. We went to school. We had a very lovely headmaster at the time. First, it was the headmistress, Mrs. Kwashim, and then later we had Mr. Donko, Mr. Philip Donko, who later became the headmaster. And they encouraged us to, take our studies seriously. And, they taught us how to do some basic gardening and all of those. So we used to bring water from home because the school didn't have water supply at the time. We used to bring water from home in gallons and the rest. And the teachers were so lovely. The headmaster was so lovely. In fact, at the time, the building that we used belonged to the Anglican Church. And it is the Bishop Matheson Girls' School, for those who are very advanced in age. It's right at the Kaneshi area, Bishop Matheson Girls' School. And I'm sure it was a middle school at the time. So they had 4 classrooms, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, right? Then when the JSS system kicked in, the program kicked in, we had 3 classrooms. So what was then available to us was 3 classrooms. The last one used to be a staff common room. Now, guess what? At the time, there was another school that had come to join us that had their primary 6 joining our block. So the teachers, out of their own magnanimity, vacated their classroom, sat on the corridor at the back, and used that as their common room, right? So that the children could get classrooms to study in. They were not thinking about their comfort. They were thinking about the future children like us. So Form 3, Form 2, Form 1. And then you had the Class 6 people join later. Some of them are medical doctors, engineers, some that I know personally. They went to Saito, the same Saito that some are lawyers, and the same Saito that I attended. At the time, we didn't have a situation where you had a metro executive or a circuit supervisor or a regional director or something finding comfort in any of the classrooms that had been designated for the children. It was just for educational purposes, and the teachers were ready to sacrifice. Today, you have a few of those teachers in the system. But today, most of the people running our education are first of all looking for their comfort and not for that of the children. I'm saying that not all of them. There are some who are very dedicated, down to earth, and they will tone down at every level to make sure that the children are comfortable. Look, they used to cane us back in the day. The Mr. Nyankos of this world, the Mr. Abeku Sams of this world, the Mrs. Ajimans of this world, Miss Dosa of this world, Mrs. Ado of this world. Look, they used to, Mrs. Atumbu, they used to deal with us. But it was for good reason. Mr. Sam, for example, used to run a small library for us where he had books and you had to come and pick. Every week you had to come and pick a book in the Saito. You pick a book, you sign it off, you go and read, you come and tell him what was in the book, you sign it off again, and then you pick another one. We're running our own system. This was the kind of love and affection that the teachers showed us, and they relinquished their classroom so we could have access to the classrooms, so we could learn. Is that the situation today? Where you have a school building, and then you have, I'm told in certain cases, you have metro officials taking one whole classroom for themselves to use as an office. When the metro office is there, when the children will be struggling for school classrooms and will be cramped up. Armstrong did a story from Bigbese the other time. You should have seen the children in the classroom. I have been here, I spoke about the Kaira DA school in Dafia Makpos constituency. The school had been completed, and then somebody had locked the door waiting because he had intentions to contest as a parliamentary candidate. So I asked the question, that some of the teachers we have these days, some of the officials we have these days, do they really care about the children's comfort and their forward march, or do they care about themselves more? And I'll be inviting the education authorities to be doing an audit of every single school building in this society that we have. The millennium schools and etc. that were built, the structure, the number of classrooms that are supposed to be there, the number of children that are supposed to be in there. Because you see, back in the day, public schools used to be the norm and private schools used to be the exception. So private schools were complementary to public schools. Today, the coin has flipped. Private schools have become the norm and public schools have become the exception. You speaking, looking at me now, there are all these who are looking at me now respectfully, who went to public schools and they talk about it with a lot of pride. They say, oh, I went to so-so-and-so government school, so-so-and-so experimental school, so-so-and-so this. I wrote my common entrance. I passed. I went to secondary school. I went to a grade A school, or I did my, I did my, Form 4, whatever it is, and then a middle school living certificate. They talk about it with a lot of pride. So the question I ask is, are the authorities today looking for more comfort for themselves than they are looking out for the children? Or are they looking out for the children more than they would look out for themselves? And I just give you an example of my experience in school, in a Saito school, in the Greater Accra region, where our teachers left the classroom for the children to be able to be in the classroom. Our headmaster's office, what was supposed to be a store, our headmaster's office literally became our store for us keeping our beakers and our test tubes and etc. for our science class. Because the home science block that we had been inundated with a lot of cooking stuff because we're taught how to bake, how to cook, and all manner of things. Is that the situation today? I will be doing an audit after audit, and I am still on the let the retirees go, let the young grow. There are still people who brag that they are past 60 years and they are still in the service, and they tell it to people publicly. Oh, we have that on record. When we start playing and start showing the photos of people who have gone past 60, either they have reduced their ages to be in there, or at the time when they claim that they are past 60, then they might have given birth as teenagers. But you know, in the old system, you couldn't have been a teenager to have given birth if you still would continue your school. Because you go to middle school, if you went to secondary school, you do form up to Form 5, then you do O-level, A-level, all those long process. Even if you are going to teacher training, it's quite an elaborate process. So we will get into the details. Now,